Hey everybody, welcome back to Wiki Sports. This is Bayou Breakdown. We're joined, as always, with Jack Tiernan. Jack, how you doing?
Brian, we're doing all right. Thanks. How are you?
Doing quite well. Excited. Talk about the Saints, even though they have been officially eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to talk about it. It's
Mm.
kind of this is a safe space, right? Get our feelings out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the channel better be a safe space because I'm going to be real ranty uh, in a few days from now when the Dolphins lose to the Jets and get eliminated from the playoffs. So
that's gonna hurt. I hope not. I hope they don't. I hope the Jets go packing. But who's your quarterback for that?
well, Teddy broke his finger, so
Yeah, right.
Skylar Thompson, a seventh round pick this year. So
Okay.
hey, you know how that went last year for you guys.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't even
Ian
think
Book, Saints
Ian Book
legend.
was he even a seventh round pick? Was he an earlier pick or was
I
he
think he was a
undrafted?
fourth round pick, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
so it's gonna go great. I'm
I mean,
sure.
hey, Brock Purdy
Awesome.
though, right? The Brock
That's
Purdy
true.
legend is here. So who knows?
Yeah, Brock Purdy is insane. But
Yeah.
we'll get back to this. Saints get a victory over the Eagles 20-10. What stood out to you in this game?
Marshawn Lattimore's presence, honestly, he's been out the majority of the year with an abdomen issue where I think it was something was torn, or I can't remember totally what it was. But something was torn. He finally comes back. He gets a nice pick six on like the 10-yard line, walks it in for a touchdown, which is nice.
Mm,
That kind of seals the game for the Eagles. I mean, I would say a solid defensive team who is a little bit depleted by injuries right now, both on both fronts, honestly. Um, I think the Eagles were like at one point a juggernaut, and now they look a lot less scary, I think. So
yeah,
the
I
fact that
mean,
the fact that Andy Dalton's able to come in and tear you up is a red flag. But
yeah, I mean, Jack, we've talked about it like all season. From like my preview to all of our podcasts, the NFC is not a strong conference, and
no,
I love Jalen Hurts. I'm a huge Hurts fan. I
same.
want him to play well. If he plays in this game, maybe the Eagles do win. Who knows? But the NFC's weak. Like
Yeah,
the Eagles are an inflated 13-3, in my opinion.
for sure.
Much like the Vikings are inflated. What are they, 13-3 also?
I think now,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, so they're probably gonna get the one seed. Maybe if they lose again, though, I think the 49ers could snag it. I do think the 49ers are a legit team,
same.
um, unlike the Eagles and the Vikings, but they also have a seventh round draft pick quarterback, like we said. So there's what I'm saying is Tom Brady is going to win the NFC. Is what I'm saying.
Same. And I'm
Yeah.
very upset about it.
But we won't think about that for now. Taysom Hill, he had a pretty big game.
He did. He did. Another rushing touchdown he stole from Alvin Kamara. I mean, overall, yeah, pretty effective. Taysom has really, as much as we like give crap for him and for how much
Mm,
Sean Payton kind of had a hard on for him, he
yes.
is effective as a runner, because you do have to account for the possibility that he's not going to rush and he's going to throw the ball. Um, and that always opens up a gap for him to just kind of steamroll through a little bit there. I
Mm.
don't have his stats up in front of me, but I think he had a couple of decent rushes if I remember correctly, including that
Yeah, so
touchdown.
he went 14 carries for 46 yards and the touchdown, and then 2 for 2 for 24 yards
He's not
passing.
even a running back, man. I don't know. 14 attempts, that's more than like half of the league's
Yeah,
second
Alvin
option.
Kamara, for the record, had 16.
16,
So,
right? Yeah, that's okay.
uh, and then Enjo Benjamin. Who the
Oh, Benjamin. Yeah. He was
uh,
a
Benjamin.
Cardinals guy who was supposed to be
Oh,
splitting
right.
snaps with Connor and then got cut and then
Mm.
went to the Texans, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's the one who got cut in the middle of the season, and
And
everyone's like,
everyone was like, "What?"
why did they
Yeah.
cut him? Yes. Okay. I
And
remember
then the
him
Saints
now.
picked him up. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's that guy. And the Saints have him because we still are trying to fill our Latavius Murray void.
I know. That was unfortunate that the Broncos were able to snag him. Um,
That's
they
poor
messed up. They messed up
management.
putting him
Yeah.
on practice squad instead of the
Stupid.
active roster. Because
Stupid.
then, we got the David Johnsons of the world
Oh God, I
coming
forgot.
in who just, hadn't done anything. But,
Just
yeah.
taking washed Cardinals running backs, David Johnson, Benjamin, everything's fine. And
Mhm.
Texans running backs. Wow, both of them. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram too. There we go.
All right. So for receiving, we had Rashid Shaheed, 6 for 79, Jawan
Yeah.
Johnson, 5 for 62, and Chris Olave, 4 for 42 are the big ones. Bunch of people with one reception, but whatever
Mhm.
for those. How did they play, the receivers?
Rashid Shaheed, he was initially kind of like the rise of Deontay Harris, now Deontay Hardy,
Right.
kind of that return specialist role. But he's quick, man. He's really,
Mm,
really solid. Um, I see a lot of explosive, kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown type player tendencies
mm,
at his absolute ceiling. But I think like right now he's as an undrafted guy. I mean, I'm a fan of him what he's doing. Overall, yeah. I mean, I like Shaheed a lot. I think he's going to have a big part in the offense next year. And he's filled in that gap where we were supposed to have Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry, like doing that big stuff.
Once upon a
Um,
time.
well, yeah, maybe 6 months ago sounded electric, but here we
Mhm.
are. With when
Yeah, I
when we're
definitely.
talking about Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, and Chris Olave as our top receivers, it's like, oh shit.
I think Chris Olave is legit.
Olave, I love. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
he's a really great player, and I think he's going to be a great player for years to come.
Me too.
Um, for the Saints, obviously, I heard a lot about him this weekend during the Ohio State game.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was definitely a solid performance for him in this one.
sure. Yeah,
Andy Dalton, 18-22, 205 yards, no touchdowns, one pick. Uh,
Andy Dalton numbers.
how are we feeling about Andy? Yeah, how are we feeling about Andy Dalton?
I think that sums it up. Andy Dalton
Mhm,
is just older Jimmy Garoppolo, in my opinion. And when you're on a team with the Saints and like your
mhm,
weapons consist of Alvin Kamara, who for some reason you don't want to throw to,
mhm,
um, and I mean, again, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson.
mhm.
This isn't Andy Dalton with AJ Green in his prime,
No.
a better Tyler Boyd. I don't know, man. I feel like this isn't he's not the solution, and we all know that, right?
Mhm,
I think we have him signed for a 2-year deal, so he'll be around next year. I hope to God he is not our starter, and if he is, I hope he is beat out by I don't care who else is on the team, but somebody.
mhm.
Um, I'm sure you've heard the rumors of Brady coming back to reunite with Peyton. I think those have kind of fizzled out a little bit, um, but a man
I,
can dream.
the Dolphins tried to make it happen and it didn't. So I
That's
mean,
true.
if he
That's
if he
true.
wants to, it's not going to be in Miami.
That's true.
So it
That's
could be in
yeah.
New Orleans.
Look, if Sean Payton comes back and we can sign Tom Brady, then I will be
Mhm,
thrilled. But I have a feeling it would be weird for him to come to this team where your most established receiver is Juwan Johnson or an oft injured Michael Thomas, right? So
tough to give up Mike Evans for
that's
what
what I'm
the Saints
saying,
have right now. Yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
Mike Evans I was at that Bucks game and it was
Right?
filthy. He was
Yeah,
absurd. I thought that they
yeah.
were showing a replay on another long bomb that he threw to Evans, and then I realized it was just a different
It's
play, and I was
happening in
like,
your
"Oh,
life in
sick!
front of
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
exactly. Yep, right in front of me, and I wasn't paying attention. So
it's
that was
like
cool.
Jesus Christ.
Like, please stop.
Yeah, I appreciate that you went to a Bucks and Panthers game just to hate on both
Of
teams.
course, of course. As an
That's
NFC
good.
rival, yeah. I mean, that's the closest I'm gonna get to an NFC game that I can like have something at stake. And I mean, to be honest, I was a big Panthers fan that day, but obviously it
Mhm.
didn't matter because Tom Brady is stupid good. Still,
It's tough when you get to like count on Sam Darnold to pull something out
yeah.
for you.
Man, I will say he looked really good at the beginning of that game, and then he looked really, really bad at the end of that game. And I was like, that this is
Yeah.
about the Sam Darnold experience too. I listen, honestly, I would take Sam Darnold on the Saints.
Mhm.
That might be a hot take, but
No,
over Andy Dalton,
I think he
there's
does
upside.
enough good to where you can kind of talk yourself into him. He's like that
Exactly.
type of a quarterback where you're like, yeah, but maybe in a new system and with a new coach, and
Yeah,
maybe he
that's
can.
me right
Yeah,
now.
he's kind of Ryan Fitzpatrick. No
He is.
offense to Ryan Fitzpatrick, but you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the ultimate like, oh, but he could totally like be good, like just the right situation. Um,
Right. I think that's spot on. I think Sam Darnold is like a less sociable Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, well, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he had help from having no expectations since he was
Yeah,
a
just
whatever
kind of go
seventh
in, ball
round
out.
pick. Like,
Right.
yeah, go in, make a couple of flashy plays. You lose by like 20, but no one remembers that. They're just like, oh, he had like
He had like
those
6
two really
bombs.
good, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then it's like, oh, okay, maybe he can work out. So we'll see. He'll definitely be someone's starter next year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Obviously, the Saints, disappointing year, 7-9. They have a chance to go 8-9. Who knows what will happen there? Can you kind of like encapsulate the year for us so far?
Yeah. Um, and I don't know if you can truly blame the team so much as the coaching staff here. I mean, no offense to Dennis Allen, but also offense to Dennis Allen. I feel like he just wasn't prepared. Like I feel like he
Mm,
comes in and he's like, "Yeah, this is my plan," and he has like a very surface level concept of what they're gonna do. But then
mhm,
the minute the other team figures it out, he's just like, "Oh shit, well, let's just keep trying it, and eventually
mm,
it'll work again." And it just never works. Like, and
yeah.
the only I think that's kind of the trend in the Saints games typically. The offense is dead by the second half because they're just doing the same thing over and over again,
Mm,
and the defense has to carry them to the win if they get a win.
right.
The only exception would be a Jameis Winston game in the first game of the year against the Bucks. So,
Yeah.
um,
What
or against the Falcons. I'm sorry.
what did James Winston do to Dennis Allen?
I don't know,
Why
man.
do you have to ride the pine for the entirety of the
I
like back half of the season? I don't get it.
This is the biggest mystery I think of the
Mm,
offseason. Like I want to know what Jameis Winston did to offend Dennis Allen or like to make him mad or to not believe in
mhm,
him because I feel like there was such potential there. And
mhm.
for whatever reason, Dennis Allen is like, let's go with freaking Red Rifle over here. And I can't stand it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like I'm like, oh, he totally would have been great, but like he
Better
could
than
have
Andy.
been, and Andy Dalton's not the future of the New Orleans
No,
Saints, and you don't have a first round pick to go and get somebody this year, so
no,
why not find out for 100% if Jameis Winston's the guy after coming off a good year the year
right.
before, but getting hurt. Like
Same
it
thing.
makes sense to me, Jack. I
He
don't know.
literally, it makes sense to anybody with like a brainstem that functions. I think that for the most part, Dennis Allen just is like, this is the safe option. The only thing that I could potentially think of is that he re-signs Jameis for like pennies to the dollar this offseason and is like, haha, I got you all, you know. But I feel like Dennis Allen, again, with that surface level concept, is just not capable of like thinking that far ahead. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case, unfortunately. But
He was
a
like,
long story
listen,
short, Jameis
Jameis,
should have
I don't
started.
know what the hell Sean was doing on offense, so I cannot make you play good. So I'm
Right.
sorry.
He's like, sorry, every time you just throw it up, you're gonna throw a pick.
Yeah.
And like with Sean had it figured out. And I clearly am like an offensive imbecile. So this is the best we can do. I
Yeah.
don't yeah, I'm all set with our offensive coaching staff. They need to go. It's
Mhm.
pathetic.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Um, not about the offense, maybe a little bit about the defense for the Dolphins, but
Fair.
I'm equally as frustrated as you. So I know where you're coming from.
It's
But
yeah, it's like let's finish and let's watch the playoffs and pick a
mm,
random team to root for. Um, Hope for the best here type of thing.
exactly. Anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to in this one?
No, I mean, next game, last game of the season against the Panthers, I think that should be
Mm,
winnable. Anything to give
mhm.
the Eagles a worse draft pick, please.
Right.
That's kind of all I'm going for at this point.
Yeah, the Eagles really dropped the ball here.
Yeah,
They could have got a better draft
fate
pick. They
was in their
could have,
hands.
yeah,
Yeah,
could have had a
and
better seating, and they just blew it.
they just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do
Yeah.
it. Gardner Minshew figured out. Honestly, it wasn't as much Gardner's fault. He couldn't get their offense going, but at the same time, their defense was pretty pathetic looking as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think again against the Panthers, I assume Sam Darnold will be starting again, and if he plays like he did against the Bucks, I think we have a solid shot. So um,
Awesome.
hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's take the win, knock the Eagles down a little bit, and just hopefully trade Sean Payton for first round pick and just call it a day.
I know that is like the one potential silver lining of Sean Payton coming back and not to the
Yeah,
Saints is like get a first round pick
at least we
back.
get a pick, right? And you
Yeah.
know he's going to a bad team most likely, so it's like okay, like maybe
Yeah.
Sean Payton to the Panthers. Um,
Maybe.
I don't know if Mickey Loomis would let him go to a divisional rival, but you never know.
I know. You'd have to do like 2 first round picks for that.
Yeah, right,
That's the
right.
toll.
Maybe to Indy, maybe to Denver. Who knows? He could go a lot of places.
Indy, Denver. Yeah, I could see depending on how he feels about Russell Wilson. I know this is kind of a bad year for us.
Yeah,
Uh,
not a good time for not
he
a good
didn't
time
get to
for Russ.
cook. at all.
No cooking, according to
Yeah.
Patrick Starr. That's right.
Oh man. All right, Jack. Where can they find you online?
Best place to find me is on Twitter, and that's at Jack_Tiernan. Follow me there for my NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever it takes. You'll have all that stuff there. You can also follow my disc golf Instagram account, and that's at Jack Disc Golfs. Another year sponsored by Disc Golf 978. Unintentionally repping the shirt here,
Nice.
which is solid. That's at Jack Disc Golfs. Follow me those places. Have content for you all the time.
Awesome. Go follow him there. Follow me on Twitter at the Fake Mar. This BMARR channel is on Twitter at Wicked Sport and WG Everything. Instagram at Wicked Sport and at Wicked Good Everything. Twitch.tv/Wicked Everything and on TikTok. Search Wicked Good Sports. Search Wicked Good Everything. Jack, thank you so much for your time.
Of course, Brian. Thanks for having us. Me.
It's all good. It'll be us in the next one to record in like
That's
5
right.
minutes.
That's right.
We'll see you all in the next one.